come to order. We will begin the monthly meeting of the Anderson County Library Board for Thursday, February 12, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Commander Mariner, if you would call the roll, please.
Shane Val.
Here.
Vicki Underwood.
Present.
Susan Maselli.
Present.
Tommy Mariner is present. Jess Ann Cole.
Here.
Tina Daniels.
Here.
Charlotte Johnson.
Here.
Terry Ryan. Eddie Taylor.
Eddie's here.
Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. If you all would join me in prayer, please, and we'll ask Eddie to lead us in the pledge to the flag. Heavenly Father, we come to you today to thank you, to honor you, to give you all manner of praise, Father, for all the good that we have in our lives, for our salvation, Lord, for the abilities that we have to come and serve. Please forgive us of our many sins. I ask you to be with us tonight in this meeting. Give us wisdom, give us discernment. Lord, guide each one in what they should say and how they should act. Lord, keep it in mind that everything that we do is for the betterment of all your people. All these favors we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Place the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. The next item that we have is appearance of citizens. Glad to see each one of y'all out here tonight. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people have asked to speak tonight.
And I noted that I counted 78 as we started.
78. All right.
Maybe a couple more.
Okay.
Could I make a motion at this time?
No, sir, but we will get to it right here in
Okay.
just a minute. Under the appearance of citizens, that will come under the approval of agenda, I believe, Commander.
Okay.
Under appearance of citizens, we want everybody to have an opportunity to speak tonight. A couple of rules that we would ask you to go by. Each one, as they come up, you'll have approximately 3 minutes. I'll time it. I'll let you know when you got about 30 seconds left. I do ask that you sign the sign-in sheet. We can make some exceptions on that if depending on how things going. On a personal note, if you have thoughts on your mind that you want to address the library board about, but the person in front of you said what you were going to say, we would ask you to consider that and refrain and maybe shorten your time at the podium. We want to try to get all of the appearance of citizens portion of the agenda done in about 30 minutes. After that point, certainly you all are welcome to stay. If you had voiced your concerns with the library board and at that point you want to leave, that's certainly fine too. We would ask that you be respectful with your comments, no personal attacks on anyone, and address all your comments to the chair. If it's a question that we can answer at the time, we'll certainly try to answer it. If not, then we'll try to get back to if you'll leave us your contact information. Keep in mind, we appreciate Channel 95 being here tonight. They are going to record the meeting. It's supposed to be on the second channel. Okay, so I think that's on the website, and then of course it'll wind up being on our YouTube videos for anyone to go back later on and to watch. So with that being said, the first person is Darla Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Darla Williams. I am a retired teacher and former school librarian for a few years. And on a personal note, I spent my formative years at Clinton Library with Becky Williams as the librarian, who is the quintessential librarian if I had to describe one. But I'm here tonight. I want to just kind of throw some questions out there for people to reflect on and think about first. And from my perspective, the question that we should be asking is the books that are in question. How did they get put in the library in the first place? What measures were in place that allowed this process to happen? And what good has come about? Has there been any good for the children? Has there been any good for the community that's come from having books in question in the library? Has our library membership increased? Has the book circulation increased? Who's reaping good benefits from this? I know I've not seen a lot of good benefits from this. And what criteria are used to select books for our libraries? Who is monitoring this selection and checking out the books? How does the library board and the librarians define age appropriate when choosing, buying, and placing books in the libraries? Are consultants used or a screening process used in the acquisition of books? Why are books of explicit content in the young adult section, which is still geared to under age 18? And if a book is chosen for removal, is that technically a ban, or is it really just responsible curation of the circulation of the library? And a legal definition of the public is anything that falls under government ownership, authority, or control that is available for common use. And I think that's a definition that we need to consider when we're looking at this. And I've heard everything from this being called a ban to censorship. And I think when you call this banning books, you blur categorical distinctions about what we're really talking about here. No one is saying that you can't read the book. No one's saying you can go get the book yourself. It's a matter of obscenity. It's a matter of morality.
30 seconds.
Okay. Matter of ethics. And a violation of public trust is based on a group's ideology. So we have to remember that we're all, as a board and as librarians, we hold public trust. And we that is a sacred trust that we hold. And we have laws in place. There's several of them. There's the 2024 Protect Tennessee Minors Act. There's the Tennessee Age Appropriate Materials Act.
That's your time, ma'am.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
comment.
Where is the sign-up list?
It's up here now.
Well, how do people out here get on?
It was up here, ma'am, for the last 45 minutes.
So it's not possible for the people out here to get on that list?
If we have some time left at the end of the 30-minute mark, we will certainly consider that. The next one, Joshua Jones.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I just really wanted to ask one question for clarification. I did some research on Anderson County and the Anderson County Library System based on the results of our last meeting, and I kept getting Anderson County, South Carolina when I searched for this document. So I was looking for a collection development policy, and every single time it came up with Anderson County, South Carolina. But I went through our websites and I couldn't find a collection development policy. Does such a document exist? This maybe for the librarians. Oh, it does? Okay. Perfect. Okay, great. Cool. Is it easy to get a copy of that? I tried to find it on the websites and I couldn't find it on the websites.
It's on her. I believe it's on mine, and
Okay.
they also more than welcome to come in. We have it behind the desk.
Okay, perfect. That's all I needed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And as a side note to that, our county IT department, I think they are looking into trying to develop a library system-wide website. So we're looking forward to that.
Shane, could you ask them to identify where people are from?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. They had it wrote down in the paper, so I didn't think about asking on the, but yes, absolutely we can. The next speaker is Jason Chandler. Your name and address, please, sir.
My name is Jason Chandler. I'm off Cardin Road in Clinton, Tennessee. And I apologize in advance. I don't like speaking in front of people. Book number YA 591.56 SCH in the young adult section of the Clinton Library within reach of my 5-year-old.
I
Which-
apologize. Could you read that number again,
Yes, sir,
please?
I'm sorry. YA 591.56 SCH. The name of the book is Queer Ducks.
Yeah.
And I apologize, but I'm going to read it because I don't want to influence anything. Let it influence itself, right? This is a cartoon depiction of a bull talking to a bunch of little animals. I know what you're thinking. Wow, this guy's hot. And you're not wrong. You know, I am hot. People say spend thousands of dollars to get a bit of what I can give them, if you know what I mean. I'm impregnating cows so far away as Tokyo, Johannesburg, and Cleveland. Cleveland, the little animal says. So I guess you identify as straight these days. Oh God, no. I don't actually mate with those females. Heaven forbid. Having sex with actual other animals is, ew. I'm more into toys. Like beach balls. I love beach balls. No, like sex toys. I think females are hot, but I think females are hot too, but I usually just get close to a male steer and get a good sniff of him. Has the bull with little hearts all around him. Okay, let's settle down here. But I don't actually touch him. I just take it all in and get excited. And then, just as I'm about to, well, you know, a human comes along and scoops everything away. All the animals look at him. There's a brief silence, and then the bull rolls his eyes. I've got to think a little more about this. My 5-year-old can get this. I'm not saying she does, because I won't let my kids anywhere around the library now. But I will tell you this, our job as adults, whether you agree with the policy, whether you agree with politics or anything, as a parent, I'm to protect my child. That is horrible. And what I can say.
Yeah, 30 minutes,
30
sir.
minutes, or 30 seconds, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 30 seconds, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
what I will say is that regardless of what we think, everyone will stand and give an account one day for what they do in this life. And if I didn't love people, I wouldn't tell them, you need to be warned. Whether you agree with it or not, you'll stand before judgment of God. Thank you.
Next speaker is Darrell Taylor. Please state your name and address, please, sir.
Yes, my name is Darrell Taylor, 617 Bethel Road, Clinton, Tennessee. I'm a father, and I've taken my children to the public library many times over the past 20 years. And all the times that I went to the library, I've always considered it a healthy place for my children to learn and grow. I've let them roam freely in the children's section, believing that the materials that they found would be age appropriate. But it's been a few years. Now my children are having children of their own. And I have an even greater belief that the resources children find in a public library should be age appropriate. A public library is a trust between the citizens and those who are charged with the administration of library materials. We support the library, and in return, we expect the library to uphold the moral standards of the community, indeed the moral standards of thousands of years of Western civilization. In a private library, one is free to include anything one wants. However, a public library should reflect the values of the majority of citizens and be responsive to their desires. So it doesn't seem appropriate to allow a minority group to force their choice of materials onto the library. Rather, let it be decided by those who actually support the library, perhaps by a public vote, who knows. We do not expect our children to be exposed to radical ideology designed to indoctrinate them. Parents take their children to the library to be well educated and well read, not indoctrinated by radical ideas.
We take children to the library with the belief that they will have access to great literature, befitting social norms, not pornographic indoctrination that subverts our societal values. Most people trust the library to provide more than just age-appropriate literature. They also expect a safe environment for impressionable young children, safe from the radical ideas that are harmful to the very fiber of the society in which they live. The addition of inappropriate material to the library violates the trust that parents have placed in the leadership of the library. My children, as I stated, are having children of their own. I do have one who is waiting for me right outside who has special needs, and I won't be able to stay for very long.
30 seconds, sir.
Thank you for listening, and I hope that you will make decisions that will be age appropriate for our children. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Elizabeth. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you, ma'am. Please state your name and address.
My name's Elizabeth Ibbotson. I live in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I am here for a number of reasons. Main reason is to support our librarians and all they do. The other thing is here we are again. Didn't we do this before? We came up with, I thought, a great solution to this issue a few years ago, where people could ask for books to be removed to a separate location where parents who want their children to get the books could. So I don't know why we're here again, reiterating things over and over again until what? The minority gets to rule? I don't understand. And my other major issue with all of this is we all stood here a few minutes ago and pledged allegiance to a flag with freedom and liberty for all, and not a minority to tell us how we should read, what our parents should be doing, what our children. I'll choose what my children read, not someone else. Thank you.
Carolyn Boswell. Please state your name and address, ma'am.
Carolyn Boswell, 150 Crescent Road, Norris, Tennessee. I've been here before. I've seen most of you before. I'm sorry that our hardworking librarians, our hardworking directors are having to fight these battles again and again. They're caught up in a culture war, which we all see going on around us. And it's a matter of who can decide what's going to be available for the public. One of the books that was most protested 3 years ago or so, when these were first starting to come to the fore, was a book that was really, it was just in one of our libraries, and it was protested ferociously. And it was only there because it had been requested by one of the patrons in the library, which is the way that many of the books are selected, as you all know. And the fact that we're having to decide on a case-by-case basis what's going to be available, whether it meets the requirements of the Clinton Baptist Association, of which I used to be a member, and we all stand up for what we believe, but we have to give room for people whose beliefs and needs are different from our own, and we can't impose our own beliefs on everybody else's children. We need to let the librarians do the very best job they can of making selections based on recommendations, on the needs they see in the community, and they need to not be accused of attempts at grooming. I hate to use that term, because they're trying to meet the needs of everybody that they serve. Thank you for listening.
Next one is Nathan Mullins. Please state your name and address, please, sir.
My name is Nathan Mullins. I would like to offer respect to obviously the elephant in the room. Okay. The obscenity law applies to these materials going to children that are too young to have them. Perfect example of the 5-year-old son of the man who was the second speaker. The issue is not whether anybody is blocking homosexual material. Nobody argued that from the very beginning over the last 3 years. What is at issue here is age-appropriate access. Under the Constitution, I give proper respect to the opposition to say that representational materials are going to be in a public library. The issue at hand is not who is offended. The issue at hand is how the library directors decided to do this on their own. My recording of their scheme to push these at the 5-year-olds will be out this weekend. So if anybody's really curious about what went wrong, that was the first speaker, what went wrong, it's going to be there, where the library directors said for every one book reconsidered, they will bring in 10 that are privately funded, that are designed to push certain people's agendas. This is on recording. So let's show each other proper respect and actually observe federal law to protect children. This is not about a gay issue. This is not about civil rights. This is about laws that all of our forebears, people who went to Harvard, Yale, and Columbia, agreed that children were not capable of processing the material that was read by the second speaker. That's what this is about. This is not a civil rights fight. So I made the recording in the first place. That is what is the issue here. Opposition people have agreed from the very beginning, after they were cajoled into losing logic, that this was not book banning. This is about age-appropriate access. That is why, as a parent, I have represented parental issues.
30 minutes, sir.
The
30 seconds, I'm sorry. It's 3 times.
We
will be here all night.
Yeah.
You want us to be here all night?
Half the people in this crowd would not sit still for me talking for 30 minutes. I can assure you that. But out of due deference to our opposition here, this is not gay bashing. This is age-appropriate access, because those materials for homosexual people are federally protected and will remain so in the public library. This is about age-appropriate access. And why anyone would argue to put that type of material before
30 minutes, sir.
5-year-olds.
I've done it again. 30 seconds, sir. I'm sorry.
Why would you want to put that before 5-year-olds? It's a little bit suspicious, isn't it? So I'll provide that recording to the public and let them decide.
That's the time, Mr. Mullins.
My name's Nathan Mullins. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now,
Take your timer.
yeah, I know it. The next person had written his name down and marked through it. I want to make sure that's not a mistake. Joe Wheeler.
No, I'm not gonna talk.
Okay, all right, just wanted to make sure. Plumie Granado?
Yeah.
Granado, I'm sorry. Please state your name and address.
Chloe Granado, 88 Hilltop in Norris. First of all, I wanted to find.
Could you speak just a little louder,
Yeah, we can
please?
hear you.
Get the mic
Okay,
down.
yeah.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. One question I have is, I understand that the state asked for the library board or something to give them the list of of questionable books, and so that they could review it, but that's not happened yet. It was due the end of January. Am I misunderstanding something here? That there was supposed to be a report to them back by the end of January, and that has not happened?
We got an extension.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to say is, I know there's all this talk they've said about book banning and whatnot. Well, nobody's burning books out in the streets right now that I've noticed. And parents and anyone else can go to Amazon and anywhere and get any books they want and pay for them themselves. But should the taxpayer be responsible for supplying books that are really quite questionable, particularly for minors? I don't think that's my responsibility. If you look at some of these books, and one that I spoke about before, it went into detail about anal sex directed at children and using toys for that purpose. That's not safe. I'm a retired nurse, and I've seen some bad things in my time. And I'm just going to tell you, a child, just, that's not good for children. It's not safe. It's sometimes not safe for adults. So why are we promoting this kind of stuff? My feeling is, and it's pornographic. I mean, these diagrams, this stuff, it is pornographic. Personally, I don't care if you're 50 years old. I don't want to pay for pornographic material, whether it's bisexual, homosexual, heterosexual, or any other sexual. I don't want to pay for that in the library. That's not my job. If you want to get sexual books with explicit instructions as to how to, you can buy that yourself. I don't want to pay for that, and particularly not for our impressionable young people. I mean, this is promoting sex in minors, and that's not safe. I have a granddaughter. She's
30 seconds, ma'am.
Okay. She made a comment. Somebody asked her if she ever wanted a tattoo, and she made a very good point. She said, no, not right now. She said, my brain isn't completely developed until I'm 26 years old, so I'm not making those kind of decisions till I'm 26 years old. So their brains are not developed to the point where they're ready to make these kinds of decisions to get involved like that.
That's 3 minutes. Thank you, ma'am. Gloria Hetron. Please state your name and address, ma'am.
My name is Gloria Heffron. I live in Norris, where I was raised. I worked for Betty Ann Jolly when I was 10 years old. I have lived in every public library in Anderson County my whole life. I am an avid reader, and I support all of our librarians, all the directors, and all the volunteers that give their time to the libraries. I have a real problem. First of all, let me back up. I'm not Christian. And I have a real problem with a certain subgroup of Christians trying to dictate what the general public can and cannot read. This is a liberty for all of us, not just for the Southern Baptists. And parents, if you are so concerned about what your child is reading, then you need to be accompanying that child to the library to pick out appropriate materials that you believe in yourself. You need to be open-minded and quit being closed-minded to the rest of us that do not have your beliefs and convictions. Thank you.
Next speaker is Dustin Haddock. Please state your name and address, sir.
Dustin Haddock, 157 Walker Circle, Clinton, Tennessee, 37716. I'm not a Southern Baptist either. I do want to point out one thing, and I think this could be recognized and would be helpful if everybody would admit that their religious beliefs, no matter which side of this argument you come down on, drive what they think is appropriate. So half the speakers are speaking from a secular, but that secular belief is their religious system that they're making decisions from. Okay, this isn't some people trying to push their religion on other people.
Hang on just a second, sir. I'm sorry. I'm going to pause your time.
Sure.
Is that coming across the speakers outside okay?
Yes.
Okay. For future speakers, make sure that, and I don't have this problem because I have naturally a loud mouth, but if you would, make sure you're leaning down to the microphone where
Sure.
it's picking it up, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're not making, one group is not making decisions based on their closely held religious belief. Everyone is making decisions based on their closely held religious belief. It's not whether religious belief drives decision making, it's which religious belief drives decision making. It's always like this. It has always been this for the history of the world. Everything that we say here is making a moral statement. We're all making moral determinations and trying to live according to those moral determinations, and it's intellectually dishonest to say that that's not happening. Okay? Everybody in this room is doing the same thing. We're just approaching it from a different perspective. So let's be honest about the situation, and let's recognize that both of these thought patterns are coming from a religious conviction. That is true. It's always true. It will always be true. It's never whether we're using closely held religious belief to make decision. It's which religious belief drives the decision.
Sir. Next speaker is Alex Loy. Please state your name and address, sir.
Alex Loy, 903 Coward Road, Clinton, Tennessee. Y'all forgive me. I'm not as good of a speaker as some of the people that have come up here, and I'll take your request. Most of what I could say could not have been said better than that gentleman over there with the gray beard reading from the books. I am a Christian. That is irrelevant to what I have to say. What I have to say is to speak to you from my heart as a child who grew up here, who grew up in a single-parent household with a mother who regularly brought him to the library, and it fueled all the wonder in my mind and my heart. I was able to be set loose in the library, and I could find books that made me question the things I saw, the things I felt, in a productive and creative way. Not things that I should be doing with my penis other than using the restroom. I have 3 children of my own. I want them to be able to explore without my micromanaging. And as long as there are books in the public library that are pornographic in nature, suggestive like that, I can't do that. So it's heartbreaking to me, and all I can really the message that I leave you guys with is, it breaks my heart to think that something that was such a huge part of my childhood and my upbringing is something that my children won't get to experience with things like this being out in the open in the library. How you want to raise your kids? Not my place to tell you. Now, I've got 364 other days to love on you and witness to you as a Christian, but that's not what this is for. This is just as a child and as a parent to say that let's protect what a wonderful thing the library is for children, and not let it fuel even more confusion. Life's hard enough for these kids as it is in the world without having such questions brought to their mind that should not even be in their mind until they're much, much older. Thank you.
Roger Alley. Please state your name and address, sir.
Roger Alley, Lovely Bluff Road, Rocky Top, Tennessee. I'm behind the 8 ball. I thought all this was behind us as well, at least the majority of it. Listening to WISH on the radio this morning, and Ron Meredith put out a public service announcement that he had received from somebody about, if you're concerned, show up tonight. So I'm not sure about what all the books are in the library that is being discussed. Again, I work, I go home, I mind my business, and I rely on the county officials, the library board, the sheriff, whoever, to do the right thing. So, and that's saying that, in 2006, I went before the Anderson County School Board because my daughter was a sophomore in high school, and it was required reading of the color purple in the book. If you've never read it, read it. It's very vulgar, So anyway, I fought that battle back then. Seems like we're still kind of battling battles. And I didn't know it till just a little while ago. If I would go to the library, and I do go to the Rocky Top Library, and hands, applause to all the librarians and the staff. They all do wonderful work. But I didn't know it. But if I went on one of the internet computers and tried to pull up a porn site, it won't let me do it. I might be wrong. Is that right? Okay. So to me, that's, if I can't do it as an adult, why should a child or somebody be, go in and get a book or whatever that might be inappropriate or, deemed so? I don't. So anyway, again, I don't know the books in question, anything. I don't think it's a thing of freedom of speech, because at 5 years old, what was I doing when I was 5? I could care less about my private parts or about anybody else's, and I certainly didn't want to have them exposed to me or in that nature. So I'd just say, do the right thing. Don't allow such material to be seen by children under 18.
30 seconds.
Okay. You can't buy beer till you're 21. You can't, join the services till you're 18. So there's a time and place for everything, and right now it's not the library for these young kids. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Chase Lindsay. State your name and address, sir.
Chase Lindsay from Oak Ridge. Can y'all hear me? Awesome. What can I say tonight that hasn't already been said? This form of government that we have is always so amazing because it allows our informed citizens and our uninformed citizens all together and to speak to our government. And that's what y'all are, is our government. It's so amazing to me because we've had 2 people now, plus the man who looks at porn at the library, stand up here and say these words in front of children. In front of children, y'all. What are we doing? Your whole problem is with kids getting in contact with this information, and you're going to say these words in front of kids. What are we doing? Shane, in your invocation, you said we do everything in your name for the betterment of everyone. Thanks.
All right. Thank you all very much. That ends the appearance of citizens section of the agenda.
Can I ask a question real quick, Mr. Chair? This is my first time in one of these meetings. I had no idea that there was a sign-up sheet, and I spent half the time before this meeting even started trying to find a place to sit down. It's really difficult to even try and figure out how the process for that even works. So you make it real difficult to even try and make public comments. So
Well, no.
there's a bunch of people even here. So
Sir, I did not intentionally make it purpose. I think I announced 3 times since 5 o'clock And I think once when I arrived at 15 Teal, that there was a sign-up sheet up here and instructed people that it was up here and available to them. I apologize if you have found that to be inconvenience. That was certainly not my intent. We were trying to be as fair as we could possibly to give everyone an opportunity to speak. So, and I said we would try to keep it at 30 minutes. We have the agenda that we have to get to. We think that's relatively fair. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion there.
Well, actually, you just want to add something to the agenda?
I'd like to add the librarians up here so more people can sit down, since we already have a member of the public sitting up here with us.
All right, so where do you want to put that on the agenda?
First.
So you're wanting to move that, be number 6A?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else want to add anything to the agenda? With that addition, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Commander Manner moves to approve the agenda. Who seconded that? Underwood? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carried.
And I would note that Terry Ryan came in at 1739, so we do have all 9 trustees here.
All right. So now that's added to the agenda. Commander Mayor.
Yes, I would like to be able to move the librarians up here, both to facilitate people being able to see who they are and to allow people to sit down. Because we've got 4 of them, we got plenty of room.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Second by Member Underwood. I'm used to being in county commission meetings. Any discussion? The reason why we asked to do that was, and I didn't want to bring this up, but since there's a motion on the floor, I guess we should explain the reasoning for it. There were complaints filed about the last meeting. Those complaints went to the Human Resources Department for them to look into. Several people went in for an interview. I was one of them. When I was asked what did I see, I was limited in what I saw because we were all in a table up here. I think a couple of them were facing this way, but I was not in a position to see the incident that occurred, so that it was recommended that in the future have it done this way. That way we as members, especially me as chair, could see what was going on. So I'll be voting no on this motion. Any further discussion? So the motion on the floor is to have the librarian sit up at the table with the members. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. No. So we'll have a hand vote. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. All against, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion fails.
Okay.
Next item is approval of the minutes.
Okay, I got 3 or 4 copies of the hard copies of the minutes, if anybody didn't get the ones that I sent out. Yeah, that's yeah, that's D, version D. We had 6 or so people add or delete things off of the original minutes that I sent out in a couple of days after the last meeting.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
No. Shane, may I speak? I have questions concerning this.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I was not here at the last meeting, so I just need some clarification.
Okay.
In the, talking about the treasurer's report on the second page,
Right.
third paragraph down, it says this will be taken up by the county commission budget committee for their consideration. By who? Who's bringing it up?
I brought up the issue of the fact that the reserve was going down.
Exactly.
And Shane pointed out that the tax rate had been changed to put the amount of funding going to the E911 board.
EMS.
Just basically
The ambulance service.
swap those two things. And I don't disagree with that they need to be well funded. They saved my life about 7 years ago. So, but we're seeing a decline. So I was willing to go to the budget committee. Nobody appointed me to. I just said I'd go and bring it up.
Okay, so it's gonna be you.
I was going to do it this last Thursday, but my wife was getting out of the hospital, so I didn't. So, but anyway, I think it should be brought to them, and I'm willing to do that. But nobody was appointed to do it.
Okay. The, going down to 2 more paragraphs, taking the youth group books and putting them in the adult section? Am I reading that correctly? That we're gonna take, there will not be youth appropriate section anymore, it's just children
that's
and
not-
adults?
What we voted for was to make the policies clear that they applied to adults and minors.
The book.
Okay, so
the physical layout.
So well, right now, do we not have an area that is a section for the youth books?
Yes.
And you're taking that away?
No.
Okay.
Originally, that came up as the recommendation, that we just go to 2 sections.
Right.
And the librarians mentioned it, as did some of the members on the board, that we have the sections, but there are books, like picture books, that are held for 3 or 4-year-olds, and then there's the young adult section, the juvenile section. So there's really 4 sections in some of the libraries, whereas the arrangement in like Briceville, with a smaller collection, she basically just has 2 sections. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Daphne. But the 2 sections basically are laid out like that because she doesn't have many options, and it doesn't have as many books. So the thing to go to just 2 sections was amended to make sure our policies say that, and that we would bring up, after we reviewed the books in accordance with Secretary of State Hargit's letter, decide what we're going to do in the future. So we haven't made that decision yet.
Okay.
To just go to 2 physical sections.
We haven't decided that yet.
No,
That's fine.
just that we need to make sure our policies apply to 2 things in accordance with state law.
Okay. And the last question that I had was the director performances. I see that there's two trustees for each one, except for, was it Clinton?
Clinton.
They have 3. Is there a reason? Is there a reason for that? Or can we add?
I can answer that. We had a setup, and Jess Ann asked to be able to review, and so I just left it added a 3rd. That's the only reason.
Okay, we don't do
There's no-
3 on all of them.
No, it's just she had requested it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
Questions
uncertain.
answered.
I'm uncertain. Do you mean she doesn't want to be doing that now, or are there 3 for Clinton?
There are 3 for Clinton. She had asked to be able to evaluate,
Yeah, that's what I've got in the notes now.
Yeah,
I corrected that in
there was no.
2nd or 3rd change.
Thank you.
Everything?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Another couple of topics too on that, and we'll get into that later on down the agenda. Although there may have been some confusion on that motion, certainly we need to clarify that motion tonight because I believe it's caused an issue that could have been corrected if that motion would have had a better understanding. So we will get to that in just a second. Another issue on there, and I've reached out to the city of Norris to confirm this, and I've also reached out to the law director, and we will take that later on as well under a memorandum of understanding with the cities. We currently do not have any formal agreement between Anderson County government, Norris, Rocky Top, or Clinton and how we operate. I believe one of the citizens asked that question at the last meeting. I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was, thank you for coming and asking that question. So that is certainly a decision we're going to have to rectify.
Do you want to add that to the minutes?
It's on the agenda, so it'll be in the next month's minutes, I guess, when we get there. There was a couple of other issues. They may have already been corrected. I know there were a lot of questions on these. All right, so anyway, if I think of it, I'll bring it up. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion, I made the motion.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was it that made the motion? Okay.
I did.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I'm actually going to be voting no on this. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
No.
No. Hand vote. Those that approve the minutes, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means motion carries. Treasurer's
Do
report.
we have 4 negatives or do we have any
Yes,
abstentions?
four negatives, right? 4 against.
No, 3. There were 6. Jesse Ann raised her hand.
Five.
I was tardy. I raised my hand.
So was that 2 or
Let's
4 that
just
voted?
redo it.
Okay. Who's in favor of approving the minutes? Raise your right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And those against? So we 6-3. All right. My Bristol arithmetic's kicking in there. I got you. All right. Treasurer's report.
Yes, sir. I do have one budget amendment from Clinton. They're requesting $5,570 out of their restricted fund, and they would like to increase their data processing equipment with that amount, and that's to cover the purchases that they're doing with the LSTA grant that requires them to match 50%. So she has plenty of money there, so I would ask for a motion to approve this. I have this.
And that's going to IT? Or
It's going to data processing.
data processing? Okay.
Can you pass this down to Tommy? Tommy, I have a copy for your minutes.
Motion on the floor by Member Maselli to approve, how much was it again?
$5,570.
And that's coming out of their unassigned
Yes.
balance?
Yep.
Do we have a second? Second by Underwood. Any discussion? How much does that leave them in there,
In her.
in that particular code?
Oh, I think like $20,000.
Okay,
Yeah, she's got plenty of money.
okay, all right.
I do have a question
Man,
about the
Mayor.
reserve. Did I read it right that it's gone down basically about $80,000 in the last 3 years?
Yes,
Is
well,
my
in the
math-
last year.
Is
in
my
the
math
last year.
correct?
Yeah, and that's what the county is taking to subsidize our budget this year.
So they're making up for the difference right now?
Well, they gave us an amount of money that was not what we need to run our business, our libraries. And so, because of the decrease in what they were giving us, they made the decision to take money out of our reserve to subsidize that, because we really had too much money. I have not been in the Treasury here for 3 years, and that money was building up and should have been used for things in the library. We should not have had that much money in our reserve. And the commission is taking, or the county is taking that to subsidize this year. What happens next year?
Subsidize who?
Our budget.
Our budget.
Okay.
The budget they gave us.
I thought
Our
you said-
budget is short, so
Yeah.
they're taking from the reserve to.
I thought you said subsidize the sheriff.
No.
Okay, I thought.
No, I shot the sheriff.
Okay.
So I don't know what will happen next year, but at this point, you know, that's what they're doing. If they do it again next year and don't raise our funds back to us, we will go down to probably 0.
So let me see if I understand. The larger rate that we were getting was providing us a budget reserve that was building,
Yes.
but we weren't using that,
Well, no. We were using most of it.
most of it.
There was always a portion of it, when I did the budgets, I always made sure that there was a little bit left
Right.
for the board, because there were things that would come up in the past where Rocky Top needed an air conditioning unit or heating unit, and nobody would pay for it. We helped to pay for it.
That's the line item that shows up as board reserve
Yes.
down there.
Yes.
About $15,000.
Ms. Sarah, I'm sorry, can you pull your microphone? Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
That's all right.
So I always kept a small portion in our reserve so that we could be there to be able to offer help to the 4 libraries when they needed something that was big
Right.
and that wouldn't fit into their budget.
So, and then when we changed the tax rate, so it lowered the amount that went in, had we changed it maybe half of that, we would have kind of balanced the needs versus the thing. Because that's why I was gonna go in and talk to them about it, is that
Yeah.
we just
Talk
need to
to me
take it up. We
before
don't
you
need to
go in. Yeah, talk to me before
Or maybe
you
you
go
wanna go do the talking.
Ugh.
Maybe I'm the wrong person.
I don't know if they want me. Anyway, that's what's going on with that reserve. It is going down about 100,000 this year.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing I have in,
Well, we hadn't voted on that yet. Any more discussion on that?
I'm sorry, yes.
That's all right. Any more discussion on that? So that's for 5,570?
Yes.
Okay.
From the restricted to the data processing.
yes,
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried.
okay.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I have another, just real quick, in doing their numbers this past, we're halfway through the year. And each one of the libraries are doing excellent in being on target. They're like at 54% of their budget, 58, 53. It's great. It's great. They should be commended. We're not going to have issues at the end of the year. It's going to be wonderful. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item is unfinished business. Item A under that is employee evaluations.
They have been assigned, the directors have completed their evaluation and should have sent them out to the people assigned to do the evaluations. It'd be helpful if you all would try to get in touch with them as soon as possible to get those done. They also are very, pretty much getting all the staff evals caught up as well. So I think we should be on target to finish those by March, which is still a little bit later than what we should have, but we'll be on target. So.
Go ahead.
it seems to be causing some angst that I want to evaluate Clinton. I wanted to evaluate Clinton because that's my home library. And actually, she sent her self-review. It's pretty remarkable, all the things that are going on at Clinton. But I don't want to cause any problems. And if there's more people evaluating Clinton than other libraries, then I certainly am fine to not do that. But I do want to talk about the evaluation method. I met with the HR director. For those in the audience, the way we currently evaluate is a board member assigns the libraries we're to evaluate. I think it's random. So it's not necessarily evaluating your home library. You're not necessarily evaluating different libraries. Anyway, the HR director felt like this would be inconsistent and limited accountability to the full board, and it would be to our benefit for us to meet with every librarian, and I can certainly see that. So I'm not making any motion tonight, but because we have something in place. Thank you, Vicki, who spent hours on getting the new tool for us, but it's something the board needs to think about. The HR director was leaning to, or he actually suggested that every board member interview every librarian. I said, well, that might be a little tough. It would take a lot of the librarians' time, and we have a lot of board members that work. So I asked him if it would be reasonable for us to do this 2 libraries, 6 months later, do 2 libraries, 6 months later with that rotation. He thought that was a great idea. But I'm not throwing that out there until everyone has time to think about it. There's also a thought of having someone outside of the board do the evaluations. And but the HR man did say if we each did it, that those would be turned into our chair and vice chair, and they would then have a conference with the librarians. So it wouldn't be the whole board would call them in, and as a group we would say, well, this is good and this is not. So just
let me make sure I understand. What you're saying is that everyone would review every one of the directors, all the trustees would review the directors on paper.
Yes.
And then that would come to an assigned person to compile the scores and
Yes.
and move forward with that.
He suggested that it be the chair and the vice chair, and I can see tons of benefits to that. It would be nice to sit down with a librarian and have a conversation, and I don't know that every board member has had an opportunity to do that. And if it's 2 libraries every 6 months, that shouldn't be a hardship on us or the librarians. Anyway, just something to consider. And we've got a lot on our plate, and we need to get through this cycle of evaluations. And
Yeah,
then
let's
we
get
can
this year done, but
absolutely.
I'm not opposed to what you're suggesting. Maybe we should, write it up to consider it moving forward.
I have his feedback, so I'll just try to get that out to everyone.
That'd be great.
Any further discussion on that item?
I did notice that the new library evaluation is much more generic. It's not focused very much toward the library. It's focused toward just being a county employee. And our librarians are pretty professional, as are a lot of our county employees. And I was just wondering if we've made a step in the right direction or the wrong direction in going to this new form.
Well, the form, I didn't develop it, so I'm not taking credit for it one way or the other, but the whole process that I think Drew was going to, and we may want him to come and speak to that if we're going to go down this other direction as well, but it was more performance oriented, and the other one got into so much little details and was so long and cumbersome. I didn't read it that way when I read it, but I can certainly see your point of view that it would sound more generic, but
I would just like,
I'm not wedded
can I
to
get the
one thing.
library directors to give me a little bit of feedback on that?
Honestly, I personally liked it just fine. Like, it addressed collection development. I felt that it addressed
Okay.
library concern myself.
Okay.
It was adaptable enough that it let us put everything we needed in.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and they did an excellent job, they really did, and if they choose to send their things to everybody so you all can see them, that would be up to them to do that. Right now, I think we just need to get them done. And everyone who's been assigned an evaluation has their part of it available.
Now, there is, as Shane pointed out last time, there is privacy issues.
Exactly, yeah.
And open records.
Yeah, I don't, I think part of that will come out as we get into the goals and of each of the library. We will be sharing, I think they will be sharing that as we kind of refine them as we do our evals to help refine those goals and get them measurable, and those will come to every trustee, because I think it's hard for you to do an evaluation when you don't know the focus of the different libraries.
So you took the words right out of my mouth. And we've discussed this now going on, I think, 5 meetings that I know of. If I appreciate each member of this board that is willing to donate their time and sacrifice times away from their families to be here and do this job. But unless you have ever worked in a position where it was your responsibility to evaluate people who work with you, you better be careful. And I think what the Human Resources Director was trying to do in assisting with Jess Ann and with Vicki is trying to make that abundantly clear to us as a board. When you fill out an evaluation and you're committing pen to paper on how an employee's performance is, you better understand what you're doing. You're swearing and affirming that this evaluation is the best depiction of this person's job performance. I'll go on record for at least the 5th time and say, as far as the librarians evaluating their employees, I agree with that all day long. They're there with them every day. We come in for a meeting once a month, and those of us who are able to go visit the librarians on a regular basis. I don't know if that's enough information to fill out an adequate, thorough evaluation on an employee. I would highly suggest what Vicki just suggested. I've asked Andrew before, but he's as busy as any of us. Maybe he can give us a class on how to properly fill out a performance evaluation on the library directors. Whoever, whether it's Vicki, Jess, or myself, reach out to him and see if he'd be willing to come and do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a meeting like this, but if we can set up a workshop or something. I'm telling you folks, I'd highly, highly recommend that.
I like that idea.
I
with
agree.
that.
So if someone will take the bull by the horns on that, and I don't care to do it. I think he's out of town right now.
I don't
but-
care to do it.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on employee evaluations? Next item, book review for Secretary of State.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the motion, and then I'll explain how I got to this motion. Okay. I make a motion for the books in the juvenile section to be reviewed, to be in compliance with President Trump's executive order, Secretary of State Hargit's directive, and the age appropriateness law. And our librarians have actually started this review, so it may seem odd that I'm making a motion now. But I have been told, I wasn't present, that after the review had started, then the book Queer Duck that was read from tonight was found on the shelf, so it was not pulled. So I'm making this motion so that we can really define what I thought was very clear in Hargit and Trump's orders, because it was repeated. The standard was very clear. No materials concerning gender ideology. So I looked that up, and it means gender ideology denies the biological reality sex, and the belief that sex is a social construct or a personal choice. Now, regardless of what I think of these books, this came from our president, and then it came down to the Secretary of State. And attached to this is a loss of funding if we don't comply. So we just had a grant. We just gave $5,000 to one of our libraries to match a grant. There will be no grant money that we will receive if we're not in compliance. Now, this has been interpreted different ways in different counties. I think we should be thorough. I think our community wants us to be thorough. So I would like the review from the librarians to be with that in mind. We're looking for gender ideology. And then I would welcome the community to come in and see if there are any books that you feel don't meet those standards. And I think board members should also investigate those books. So that's my motion, and after we get a second and vote, then if this passes, we should come up with some times and move forward.
So the motion on the floor is any books found that are
Not in compliance.
not in compliance with
with
the
the-
letter from the Secretary of State
And Trump's executive order
and the President's executive order
and the age appropriateness law.
is to be moved to the adult section of the library.
No, sir. I
Okay.
want those books pulled until
Pulled
the
until
board
determination.
can review those books and
Okay.
see. And so
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I second.
Second.
Got a
Got 2
third.
seconds. All right.
Now, let me be clear, we're voting on having the books removed from circulation until the reviews can be finished and we can agree that this does or does not meet those criteria. We're not saying we're gonna remove them right now just before they're reviewed, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, can you read the motion from start to finish before we vote?
Sure. Or, do you want me to read it, Tommy, or do you want to
Why
read
don't you read it and I'll get a copy from you.
Well, good luck reading it. My motion is for the books in the juvenile section, which it came up earlier, the sections of the library, all the sections, young adult and children, are juvenile section. The books in the juvenile section to be reviewed to be in compliance with President Trump's executive order, Secretary of State Hargit's directive, and the Tennessee age appropriateness law. And all of those use the same standard. It's gender ideology. So maybe I'm not so good at wording, but that's what it is. I tried to make it short, but that's all I could do.
The books in the juvenile section be reviewed for compliance with President, Secretary of State, and the
Age
age
appropriate.
appropriate law. And
Which
books that
states
are,
they have to,
books that are found in the review be held until they can be reviewed by everybody.
yeah. And I guess you need to put in there about gender ideology, because
Gender ideology.
that's the standard. That's what was repeated in Hargit's from Trump's letter.
Okay? I think
We
I can get,
understand the motion.
I think I can get that down.
Any further discussion?
I would like to add a little bit of discussion, a little perspective. I did go over to the Clinton Library and reviewed 26. The librarian director pulled 46, I believe was the last count. 45 books that showed up something to do with gender ideology. Many of the books, of the 26 books that I reviewed, many of them really had nothing to do with gender ideology. That it would mention gender in the case of, let's say, Navy pilots, female Navy pilots, or somebody who was marching in the civil rights thing. So many of the books that show up as needing review clearly did not need review. And of the 26 that I looked at, 2 of them I would have thought what should go from the young adult section to the adult section, or from the juvenile section to the young adult section. So the review will take a while. I reviewed 11 over at Briceville with Daphne that showed up because she's got a smaller collection, and none of those were, I didn't think were inappropriate. So some of this has already been done. It'll take a little while. And it's probably a good idea for all the library trustees to go take a look, because there'll be some disagreements, but a lot of them just didn't have anything to do with gender. But we did not see Queer Duck.
And the age appropriateness thing, you know, it also, sexual excitement, sexual acts, intercourse, any of those things, even implied, nudity, excessive violence. We've talked about violence before. Well, there's the motion. I call for the vote.
Any further discussion?
My question
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
who's going to do the review, and then I understand books will be pulled, and then how are we gonna review it as a board, the ones that were pulled, or is one person, like Tommy did, go in and correct them? How's the process gonna work after who's gonna review the books to pull? And then what are we gonna do after they're pulled? Like,
Well, what we've done so far is the librarians did the criteria for the search, and 45 came up in the Clinton Library, 11 in Briceville. Kelly, I haven't been.
Like six.
Six?
I have six.
Six in the library at Rocky Top, and then Norris.
I'm still pulling, I don't know what number, but there's
And so those books are actually off the shelves right now?
Yes.
They've all been, at least Clinton's and Rocky Top. Daphne, did you pull them, or did you put them back on?
Once we were finished with them, they went back.
Okay.
Is there, like
so
you
are
said,
we
it was
done?
gender.
Are they done reviewing? Are they gonna do it again? Like,
Well, after I was told that the Queer Ducks was on the shelf after the review, then I had some concerns. So I just would like the books to be looked at in light of the things that I've discussed. And what other counties have done is, after the books were pulled by librarians, community members, board members, then they were voted on by the board. I'm not talking about holding up each book. I think that we would probably have to talk this out, but I see it as we would come up with a list of books, and if you felt like, no, you really wanted Queer Duck to stay on the shelf, then you would express that, and we would vote on that independently. That's my vision, but we're certainly a little bit ahead of the game with that, so.
Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
Sure, Commissioner Allen.
Is Commissioner Allen on this board?
No.
Thank you, sir. Can the public speak now?
No, sir.
Then how does he get to speak?
If any other county commissioner, county representative who has a vested interest in the decisions that this board makes will be given the consideration.
How does the board speak, votes?
Go ahead, Commissioner Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were talking about gender ideology, and there is a definition. We're not talking about a books that have mention of a female being a woman or a man being a man. We're talking about the ideology that tells children that they can change and switch sexes, right? That's the ideology. So the idea that, some book that mentions that a pilot is a female, that's not the ideology that we're talking about. There's a definition in there that talks about that. So I just want to make that clear. Some people want to remove every book just to be a pain in the butt about it, when we're talking about something very, very specific, the gender ideology, right, Tommy?
Right.
Not just the fact that someone was mentioned as a male or a female.
The problem is, when you go in for a search, you get a lot of stuff that you didn't.
Yeah.
There was a lot of civil rights stuff in there.
Sure, yeah.
Civil rights book.
So this is very, very specific that I wanted to address to make sure that people understood that.
I have just a comment, and
you know, we have the reconciliation sort of process that we use for books that come into question.
Reconsideration.
Reconsideration, or reconciliation, reconsideration. It's been a long day. And I just wonder, in meeting a more timely way, if you know, we have three, a director and 2 board members, we could have 3 board members, whatever, to kind of consolidate it, to have, look at the books that after that initial review by the director have of concern, and go ahead and get going with that. Because if we all have to go into the library and review every one of them, I mean, is that what we're talking about? Every trustee reviewing them?
No, ma'am. What I said was that we would set a time on this, and board members would have the opportunity if they wanted to. Actually, it's pretty easy to do, Clinton. It's all online. You can do it from your recliner at home, pretty much. You know, if you have a question about a book. But you don't have to go in any of the libraries if you don't want to. And again, I would ask the public to please look at the books too, because I get phone calls about books that people are concerned about, so let them have an opportunity.
Can I?
Yeah, that's, now I'm trying to keep up. I think Tommy's had it a couple of times. This will be 2. You only spoke on this one. Okay, go ahead.
So the motion, from my understanding, the librarians are already doing the review and pulling books and people are looking at them. If the public goes into the library and finds a book that's inappropriate, like the gentleman pointed out, he should do the reconsideration and challenge the book like the library policy says. And then we bring it up here and discuss it and vote. If the librarians haven't found all the books and we haven't moved them by the process that's happened, that they've already completed, I agree, the public, if they find ones that were missed or put back and they don't think they should have been put back, then we need to review them in the way the policy states. Because if they've already reviewed and now somebody else is going to review, it's a never-ending process of reviewing the books. Different people will review them differently. That's why we came up with the process of challenge the book. Ask us to reconsider it. Point out that it was missed. You know, bring it to the librarian and say, please have the board look at this book that you put back on the shelf that should be moved, or whatever.
She's the maker of the motion. That's why she's having to answer all y'all's questions. So don't think I'm being unfair by letting you stand talk 10 times.
I think you're
She's
really,
got to respond.
I think you're really onto something about having them fill out the paperwork for reconsideration, but the reconsideration process is quite cumbersome. Every board member has to read the book. We have 1 copy of the book, so if we have 20 that are under the reconsideration, we might finish in 2028. This has some urgency attached because Hargett set a date that we have missed by quite a bit for this to be accomplished. The reason that we are behind the 8 ball, one reason is we didn't get notification. And just to address that quickly, to our dear librarians, I know it was on your report, and basically it said letter from Hargett. If we get any thing that requires board action, I would like that to be brought to our chair's attention, because that did require action. I read it, I saw there was a letter. I thought we'd talk about it when we got here. I didn't realize there was a timeline. But I do think it would be very good for them to fill out the paperwork. So I know that Shane Val objects to this book, and this is why he objects to this book. But there's no way we can, I mean, anyway.
I think we're talking about 2 different issues. All right. So 3 years ago, when all this issue first came up, and it was debated in numerous meetings, this board, and some members weren't on the board at the time, but this board came up with a policy that basically said the books that are in question, that are objected to, we'll take a dust cover and we'll put it on the shelf. The books themselves will be put away, and the only way a child can check out that book is if their parent is standing there with them, right? And we took that as being the rule that was going to be abided by. Fast forward till a few months ago. We get a letter from the Secretary of State's office, Trey Hargett. Please don't confuse that letter with the policy that this board passed. We're talking about two separate things. The letter from Trey Hargett's office, contrary to some popular belief, did not say if you find any books that match this criteria, take them out of your library. It said make sure they're not in your children's sections, is what this said. This ain't got nothing to do with the challenge process. This ain't got nothing to do with people coming and filling out paperwork and wanting us to read the book all the way through and then waiting next month at the next meeting to vote on it. The letter from Trey Hargett's office said if you've got any of these books that meet this criteria, get them out of your children's sections. That's what the letter said, okay? Yes, we got the letter late. We were behind the 8 ball. So we start this process, and then in last meeting, we passed a motion that said there's 2 sections to a library. There's children's sections and there's adult. There's not teens, preteens, young adults, all these subcategories of the children's section, there's 2. There was debate on that issue because the librarians pointed out that would be difficult in some cases to be able to do that. Lo and behold, when they start abiding by the request from Trey Hargett's office, they find books in the children's sections that if it had been in the adult section, we would be all right. I made the comment, and I don't know if Tommy accurately corrected it might have been because of my hillbilly dialect in the minutes, but the point I was trying to make was, with the previous policy that this board passed, with the dust cover on the shelf and the book behind the counter, plus us going through and only having 2 sections to a library, child or adult, you put those 2 together and you've solved the problem and there would be no confusion. But apparently there was confusion on that motion, or according to Tommy's minutes, it might have got convoluted and got amended. So now here we are debating an issue that we were trying to solve last month so that we wouldn't be debating it here this month. I really would like, after we pass this motion, or not pass this motion, depending on how the vote goes, to bring that up again and get clarification on what the intent of this board was. 2 sections in the library, children's and adults. That's going to simplify this a whole lot, all right? So that brings everybody up to speed. I know in the audience tonight there was a few questions asked about why are we bringing this back up again. Well, hopefully that explanation kind of shed a little bit of light of why this is a debate once again. I hope so anyway. So, please, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. That's on Jess Ann's motion, by the way, in case anybody's forgot. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
All right. Those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those against?
I'm just confused by who's gonna review them. I don't know how to vote because the librarian's already reviewed. I don't know what we're reviewing and who's reviewing now.
It doesn't seem real effective to me for the people that bought the books to go look on the shelf and say, the books I bought they meet the criteria. That's not enough. So the librarians are doing an initial look at the books. Then I've asked for the community and the board to have an opportunity to look at the books. And, you know, we have totally new laws now, new guidelines. Than we did a couple years ago. We're not fighting the same battle we did a few years ago. This is all new. But we would all look at the books, and then we would vote on the list. Did I answer?
Well, I don't know how we can vote to mandate the community review the books.
I'm not
suggesting. We either have to assign us to look at the books.
I use the word opportunity.
Right.
That we would encourage them and say, you have the opportunity to have input in Secretary Hargett and Trump's executive order.
So,
I certainly can't mandate, I can't mandate my husband to go look at the books.
all right, the vote passed by 6.
6-2 to 1, that's what I got.
6-2 to 1?
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Now, one, yeah, okay.
Next item on the agenda is under new business.
I am not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse Ann, go
I
ahead.
don't have a new motion, but I just want to point out something, since we're talking about collection. In Law Director Yeager's letter that we got earlier, years earlier, and the Law Director current referred to that letter and some things, it says that when a new book or other material is ordered, it will be listed on the website in advance of circulation for citizen comments and public awareness. Is that happening?
That wasn't voted in. It was you guys. We send it to you a week in advance. You guys get all the titles.
This
We
was
post
pulled
them.
off the policy on
But
the
that was
Clinton
just
Library website.
Yeager's recommendation, like he was saying, these are the options that you can choose. But the board, you guys voted that we give you the titles before they touch the earth. Like, you guys see them before we ever order them. And that's what was voted into policy. That's
Okay,
what
this is from Yeager. He got his information off the Clinton Library site. I've got so many papers up here, I can't find the first part of that letter. But he says the vast majority of current policies do not need adjustment. However, we believe the library board should consider adjustments and modification to okay. It is under recommendation. Okay, I'll make a motion, we do that. We post the books that we intend to buy or that have been donated before they go on the shelf. The taxpayers that will be paying for them have the right to look at them and decide if there's any they object to.
Well,
Somebody shorten that.
Let me throw something out here, mate, and because I'm kind of confused too. Okay, so each of the librarians, I get an email just like everybody else does, okay? So they send me an email with the books that they've purchased and are going to put on the shelf.
They're about to.
Or about to purchase, yeah, I apologize, about to purchase, you haven't purchased it yet. So you send it to me, just like everybody else, and we look at it, and of course, what I do, I don't have the time to sit down and read every one of these books. So I'm taking it based on my confidence in them, that they're not getting something that's questionable. So I look at it and I go to Amazon, and Amazon will generally have a little bitty paragraph or whatever about the book. So I go based off of that and I say yay or nay. And I agree. If it's something that I think should not, then I may say something. So far, to my knowledge, I have not ever rejected any book. Do you know of any that I've ever rejected? So when they get that book and they did put it on the shelf, then how many people that wander into the library actually go and pick that book up until somebody actually wants to read it? And then that person, for whatever reason, they may object to it. Then they will put in the reconsideration for us to reconsider it, and then it will come to us to discuss and say, hey, you need to pull this book because it doesn't meet the criteria of whatever section. Does that make sense?
Yes, but we do not request those lists because we do not respect their expertise. We request those lists because before you were on the board 10 years ago, the meetings were hostile and awful, and they felt like they were getting a... Do something.
Did you just flip me the bird?
This guy right here.
He's talking about my what? Get him out.
Sir, play that. Guys, at the beginning of the meeting, we asked for everybody to be respectful. You don't have to agree with everything everybody says, but come on now. Sir, there's no cause for that. You flipped a bird? Really?
He said, fuck you, and that's why he flipped him the bird. He was responding to your husband right there. I saw him and heard him.
Yeah.
It wasn't you, it was this
Guys,
guy in the front
guys.
row in the corner.
The folks, we're going to give everybody an opportunity here tonight, but we're not gonna be able to tolerate behavior like that.
Enough!
Thank you, Deputy. Thank you. No more of that, guys. There ain't no cause for that. That's crying shame.
Can I?
I'd like.
Hang on. 10-minute break. We'll come back to order, members. Sorry about that. I just thought it would be prudent to go ahead and take a break. Folks, please don't have any disrespectful outbursts again, please. For many, many reasons. Number one, there's kids in here and everything else. If we have any more outbursts like that, then we're going to start having to politely ask people to leave. So please don't. Let's just not do that. All right, we're back on the record. Ms. Cole, go ahead.
I made a motion that the books that we're going to purchase any book that we're going to put on the shelf, that it be on the library's webpage so the community would have access to it and be able to have input about what goes in the library. That's my motion.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. No. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion carries.
Could I add one thing to that general topic?
Okay.
When Jay was giving his opinions on the standards that we use, the standard that he was applying for his write-ups was the community values standard, which is what the Supreme Court has decided is the standard that we should apply. The new standards that have been put forward by President and were referred to in the Secretary of State thing having to do with funding, which is being cut for all sorts of different reasons, was a different standard. So you were talking about these things don't have any bearing on each other. They actually do, because there's a different set of judgment tools being applied to these things. And the first standard, the community standards test, has been through the Supreme Court and has been the law of the land for a long time. These other things are being litigated right now and are not the law.
Age appropriateness is on the law. Obscenity is on the law.
Right.
The Yeager actually gave us definitions for.
Right, he did.
On that note, another thing that Yeager did, God rest his soul, and our current law director did, and we discussed this at the last meeting, and that was the reason we brought up the motion for there only to be 2 sections in a library. One of the reasons for that was both law directors opined that under state law, you're either an adult or you're a child. I understand library systems, and I'll go as far as say ours is not the only one, that some library systems have all the subcategories of the children's sections. If it's anything under 18, it's still a child under the law. That's why that motion got brought up. So I guess I would like somebody, if they would be willing, to make a motion to clarify that the books that we are discussing here are to be in the adult section. That's it. I think that would settle it. It wouldn't be in one of the children's, it'd be in the adults.
I agree with you, except for the fact that we haven't defined, like the list I've got here, of the 26 books that I looked at, one of them was Crash, the Great Depression and the Fall and the Rise of the United States, because gender roles changed during that time. Black Boy Joy, which was in juvenile fiction. It was 17 stories about black children and their boyhood, and it basically was trying to inspire people. Jackie Robinson's included. number of people like that. So that just the saying gender and trying to pull books on that account, the process is gonna matter a whole lot about where we get to. And I would agree with your idea that we go to children's and adults. But I think we can do that within the realm of what we currently have, is like on Clinton's library, which has the biggest sets of divisions. We can say children's, and underneath it, young adult. Children, juvenile fiction. Children, picture books for like the 4-year-olds. How are we doing on that, Mariah?
So after the last meeting, when the board decided we only needed to have adult and children's section, I went into our catalog and I changed everything with a YA call number to be an adult book. So if there's a YA call number, it's now an adult book.
So that process is going on right now.
That took me 5 minutes, right? Like, because that, is it okay if I talk? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Because, like, initially, I know there was some confusion. Like, I thought we were voting that yes, everything in young adult is judged by that standard, right? Like, every young adult is considered part of the children's section because we view the review that way. So we transition it to adult because that way all of our patrons that have limited cards, they're not allowed to check out, all of that is automatically in there. Like, as of right now, pretty much most, like, they can't check it out unless we have a signed card saying that they can check it out. The question became, like, physically, right, physically, because my young adult section is like by itself in a corner on the adult side of the library, like everybody's are different. But like, there are books in there that are very clearly for like teenagers, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm physically moving these books that are for younger folks into adult, I'm like, they'll go into adult to find that, right? Like, do we keep the ones that pass review that are not, you know, bad in any way, right? Like, because we're all reviewing. But do those books that are like for 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, do they have to go literally, physically in the adult section? Like, we already know that the gender ones have to be. We already know that if it has violence or sex or any of that stuff, we know those physically. Like, nobody's arguing. We know those physically have to go into adult. No, okay? But the rest of them, like the rest of them don't need to be in adult life. They're just, right? And if you guys have an issue with any of, like, for the past few years, they've all been approved, but if you guys have issues or the public or anybody has issues with it, like, it comes to the board and you guys vote and it goes wherever it goes. But like some of these books, like they would look silly in the adult section, right? Because they're for like 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, and I don't want to put that beside some of my adult titles that are in adult, right? Like, if we're trying to protect kids, we need to keep the kids stuff not in the adult section. Like, I'm just asking about the ones that aren't, like, that pass the review. Like, these are the books that have already been determined. They don't have any of the stuff.
I definitely agree that they're going to look silly in the adult section, and therefore I'm going to make a motion that any of these books that are found to promote gender ideology are removed from the library. And here's my thinking. We have asked if these books are moved to the adult section, they're going to need to be supervised. We've been told by you guys that you do not have the staff to do that. And that is accurate because we have had sex in the stacks recently. So supervising these books sounds impossible. Also, we have asked that you purchase a cabinet and put the books under lock and key. And we were told you not only couldn't afford a cabinet, you didn't have a place to put a cabinet. So I want the books gone. I don't want them in there.
All right, that is not what I was talking about. Like, the books, you guys decide about those, like, gender, whatever, like, leave the gender out of it. Like, the things that we deem inappropriate for whatever reason, those go to adult. But the books that hit none of these markers, right? Like, I'm just saying those books should be in an appropriate section for that age group.
you're talking about books like one that got I Survived the Black Death. There's a whole series of I survived the tsunami, I survived an earthquake
There's a whole
books.
young adult that is not inappropriate in any way, so it doesn't need to be in an adult section where there might be things that people do find inappropriate, is my point here. These are the books that have been judged to be fine, so they should be at like, and they're already all categorized as adult, so it's not a public, like, no one, like a 10-year-old can't come in and check it out unless their parent is, for any of them in young adult.
So-
Any of them.
Does the Library of Congress use the young adult
I'm more familiar with Dewey than Mirage.
divisions?
I would have to look into LC. I haven't used LC cataloging since grad school. That was 20 years ago.
Right.
And so things will have changed.
But most
Everybody uses Dewey.
most things come from Dewey, and it does have young
Yes.
adult.
Yes, yeah, and it's to keep it away out of the adult stuff, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, the point is to protect.
Give them an area of the library to go to and look for stuff.
Yes.
I think we got off base from
Yep.
what you were asking.
Motion on the floor is to remove,
Remove any books that any books that we found violate this gender ideology, to remove them from the library.
got a motion on the
That's
floor.
not on the agenda. The
Do
public
we-
hasn't had a chance to comment on it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
No.
Hand vote once again. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Motion carries.
Let's not do any community feedback on that one.
That's not even on the agenda, well outside.
It was on the agenda. It still fell under the book review for Secretary of State. Moving on. Under new business, employee awards. I guess we put that probably in the wrong spot on the agenda, and I apologize for that, but I don't want to pass up the opportunity.
Okay. You did good.
We have librarians tonight who we want to thank.
After all that.
Yes, sir, after all that. I know, I said put it on the wrong spot on the agenda, I guess. Daphne Wyndham has worked for our library system for 20 years.
Amen.
We appreciate it. Kelly Harris has worked for our library system for 5 years. Kim Burge has worked for our library system for 10 years.
Way to go.
HR, put that, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Shane.
It's all right. Regardless of what public opinion may be about the members of this board, and I know I'm from one of them, I do appreciate the efforts of our employees, especially on days like this. I think we've already covered item B. We were talking about whether or not employees could be evaluated by more than one member of the board if that was a violation of the Sunshine Law. We have found it is not. The law director and the HR department both agree that we are able to do that. So if there was any concerns on that. Item C, book challenges. Did we have a book challenge? I got an email that we had one.
Yes.
Okay.
We did.
Got it somewhere.
It was the Clinton. It was
Was
the Clinton.
was it the Clinton?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was, boys kissing boys. Two boys.
Okay. Did, that was sent out to the board members, wasn't it? Okay. So that the recommendation's already been made?
No.
Yeah, that was our challenge.
Okay, all right,
Shane, may I make a comment here?
sure.
I did see this recommendation, or reconsideration, excuse me. And I am not going to name any names, but I was very disappointed that in the section where it asked, had they read the Anderson County Library Board Collection Development Policy, both of these trustees had not. And I'm sorry, that's just unacceptable to me. We are trustees, we are supposed to know this stuff, and yet they fill out a form and they say, nope, I didn't read the policy. I'm sorry.
Well, I can
Find that
understand
wrong.
your frustration, but I think there's still a lot of us are learning. I think if you've been on this board for a while, like we talked about the HR evaluations earlier, there's a lot for all of us to learn.
Did you say they didn't read the policy or the book?
They didn't read the policy. Yeah, and one person was new on, and I understand that, but we've gotta know our stuff. The trustees have to know their stuff. We can't sit here in front of people and just kinda half-ass do our job.
Yeah.
So what's the pleasure of the board on this current book challenge?
Well, we have a process that we go through. I guess
Okay.
we need, this is in the Clinton.
Yeah, I had it too, but I already moved it into adult because I moved all my young adult into adult.
Well,
So
technically, all of my young adults
Right,
have been
it's-
recatalogued as adults.
it's already in adult. for-
So it's already there?
I have it, but well, right now it's on my desk because it's part of the challenge process. But yeah, they've all been transitioned to adult.
All of my young adult
All
phone
the
numbers
young adults.
are adult now.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, are we gonna follow our policies, or are we just gonna run roughshod like we've been doing so far today?
Pardon? Clarify.
Well, we adjourned without anybody saying anything about it. Just got up and left. I mean,
Commander, the chair can call for a recess.
But in terms of this, we do have a process that goes through. I mean, I understand you moved it to the adult, but, we generally go through the process where there's a director and two trustees that read the book,
Okay.
review it, and make a determination about the book.
Okay,
I don't know that we're following our policy if we just start moving a book.
Okay.
To a different section.
so that would be the director of the Clinton Library and then two of us on the board?
No, it would be a director not,
Not Clinton.
Okay.
on the library. It would have to be either
So-
The
Kim or
sentence,
Daphne.
the sentence says, a subcommittee will then be formed consisting of 2 board members and a director from a library that does not hold the item in question in the
Okay.
collection.
So we need to decide that. Okay? So let's
If we're
put,
gonna follow our policy, I think we need to address it
Absolutely.
that way.
okay,
Absolutely.
And I'll be happy to be one of the trustees reviewing the book. I don't know anything about it, but I'll be happy to review it.
I will too.
okay.
What's the name of the book?
It's Two Boys Kissing
Two
by
Boys
David
Kissing.
Levinson.
Guys?
Did you get that, Tommy?
Got it.
And then either Daphne or, Kimberly. I don't know whose turn it is.
Is it in 2 libraries or just one?
One director. Oh, it's
It's in
in
2.
Rocky Top and Clinton.
Yeah.
But it was that
So
challenge.
they can't leave.
So do either one of you wanna volunteer, or are you discussing it?
Yeah, both. I don't care.
Daphne volunteered last, so I'll volunteer this time.
Okay.
And which 2 directors?
Eddie and I. And I don't remember exactly the policy, but we have, how long do we have to try to get the book and review it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay. So if somebody, we've got 2 books, so that should help if somebody can get it. Can you get it from Rocky-Top, Eddie?
Yeah.
And I'll get it from
Yes.
Clinton, and we can at least get it read and reviewed and try to meet on it. Okay.
Thank y'all. Any more discussion on that? All right, item D, memorandums of understanding with the cities. I'd like to have a motion for us to request the law director to start drafting memorandums of understanding between the Anderson County Library Board and the cities of Norris, Clinton, and Rocky Top.
I so move.
Second.
Have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
Do we do anything about the Briceville one, or we just?
It's already in the county civil. We,
Okay.
county already has an agreement with itself, so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that, I didn't know if it was at the school or something.
No.
Any further discussion?
By the way, I did talk to, Norris did a search back in their archives, and they didn't find, they didn't find it.
Well,
They've
told me.
had, they've
I've heard
had
it
2
alluded to.
fires. They've had 2 fires that have
Well,
destroyed.
we don't think there was ever one at all.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Between any municipality in the county. It was,
Right.
the old handshake system, and I guess it worked for a while, so we're just trying to catch up to the times.
Absolutely right.
Well, the thing is, the state law says if you're gonna have one, it's gonna come from the incorporated towns, and so it is covered by law, but memorandums of how they're gonna do it is not.
Yeah.
Any further discussion
On anything,
on the memorandums of understanding with the city, getting the law director to draft?
yeah.
And of course, he'll come back to us before we pass it to send it on. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carried. We didn't need a hand vote on that one. Director reports. Bryceville, do you have anything not on your written report you want to address with us tonight?
Just today that they came and installed another new light that was much needed on the patio. Yes. So.
Sir, yeah, go ahead.
To the podium, please.
I'm sorry.
Can you send them up?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, librarians. Clinton.
Excuse me, I do have questions for
Okay.
Briceville. 2 real quick questions. Who paid for the new HVAC unit?
That was through school maintenance.
They paid for it? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, then my second question to you is,
Yes.
is a special thank you going to the school, to the maintenance people, to Dr. Parrott, that maybe the board should be doing?
I could absolutely do that. Yeah.
Because that is,
It's amazing. Yes.
that is an amazing thing that was done. Yes.
No, I'm absolutely happy to do that. Yeah, if the board thinks that's appropriate, I can.
I think it's very appropriate.
And they had the lights fixed, so that was great.
Now, Daphne, you're talking about the one outside and the one on the patio?
Yes, the
now.
pole was fixed, 2 days ago, and then the one on the patio was, brand new installed today.
And the pole was fixed by the county maintenance folks?
Yes.
That's great, because they don't have the money to spare to do that. Thank you.
Clinton, anything on your report you want to address with us?
Not on the report, you were asking for things that weren't on the report though, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I do have an employee who's had to go on FMLA leave, so I'm going to be having to utilize one of my part-time sub more regularly. So I may end up needing to transfer funds from my around to put more money into my part-time by the end of the fiscal year. So,
You used an acronym, I didn't get.
FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act.
Thank you. Norris?
Nothing else that's on my list.
All right. Rocky Top?
I don't think so. There was something I thought of earlier, but now it's left my brain.
Okay.
So I'll just email people later.
It's been one of those nights,
I'm
yeah.
like, if he says that, I'm ready, but I'm not.
Okay. Regional?
If anybody has any questions.
Regional?
I've got nothing to add.
Okay.
Can I ask Matthew a question real quick?
Sure.
Matthew, I understand there's gonna be a statewide list of books that have been pulled from different, library systems. I think I heard that was coming out in February or March. So when you get that, compiled list, if you could pass it on to our libraries so we make sure those books aren't in our libraries, correct? I mean, I can give one county's list to them, but that's what it said online. Is that not right?
A list is not going to be compiled by the Secretary of State's office.
It's not? Okay, I will send you all Rutherford County's list so that you'll know which books have been pulled in that county.
Question.
Yes.
Why would we pull based on Rutherford County's list?
I'm just giving you a heads up, something to go by. If those books have been in question there, then I think we should review those books.
I should clarify, will not be compiled and released specifically by the Secretary of State's office.
Gosh, that's concerning that they wouldn't release it.
No, I'm not saying they won't release them. It won't be on their onus to put out a report.
Is that something that can be requested or?
Yeah, it's a public
Okay,
report.
so it can be requested.
Okay. That's what
Okay.
And
that's what I was
Chairman?
doing, was
Yes, ma'am.
requesting.
On Norris's report, the very last thing, it states that she's working on her annual budget that is due later in February. I had no knowledge that we've been asked to start our budget process.
Yeah, that
Have-
went out
January 23rd.
January. Yeah, that went out in January.
I was not notified. Yeah, okay.
They send it to the employees. I doubt if they send it to the board
Oh,
members,
well,
so.
they usually send it to the
Oh,
treasurer.
yeah, and Robbie
Oh, yeah.
usually, yes, because
Yeah.
Robbie mentions you quite often when it comes to the library's budget, so.
Oh, yeah, so, okay, then I will get with
Call
Robbie.
Robbie and scold him.
Okay.
All right.
I will get with Robbie.
Next item is announcements. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, March 12th. That will be at 5:30 in this room. And if there's no further business to come before the board,
Do we have to vote on that again? Like, cause we were rotating the things, did we move
I think-
it permanently?
I thought we had moved it permanently.
We did not. We just said we'd have the
We
next.
said
Okay.
the next one.
Is that something y'all want to vote on?
Yeah, I don't
I
like
make a
having it
motion,
here.
all of our meetings are in this room.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Why?
I just once again feel that we miss out. You just said you don't get a chance to go to the libraries. You don't get, we're discussing and voting and making decisions about all the libraries, and if you don't set foot in all the libraries, it's hard to make a decision if you don't go to all the libraries and see what's happening in the library. So, I mean, we can put this into the rotation, but I still think we should rotate so that we can see and not just hear rumors or whatever. We can actually see what the libraries are doing and how they're set up and how they're functioning. And not just a matter of convenience for people, that we should make an effort to go to the libraries. That's my opinion.
Any further discussion?
I agree.
Security.
All in favor, say aye. This is the two, have them here. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no.
No.
All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, motion carries. No further business come before the board. Eddie, go ahead.
When we get some of these made, I want everybody to know who I am.
They do, Eddie.
We'll see back
I mean,
in.
but seriously.
Did my young adult question get answered?
I mean, I think we should all, the public should be able to look up here and see who has.
But you told the ones you needed to, and you can keep your.
We are adjourned.